So, today we're discussing another exercise that I think all your mama clients should be either working towards or already doing. And I'm actually going to advocate not doing it properly. Right. So, we're talking about squats and lunges. And the reason I don't like perfect squats and lunges is because they do not prepare a mother's body for the tasks that she's going to be performing every day at home. The idea is that we build on those basic patterns in as a larger variety of ways as we can possibly do, so that we're building diversity into the female body, into the mum's body, and she has unlimited resources and options for getting down and getting up from the floor. So this may feel today like it's going against the grain, and you may have some problems with me telling you not to do squats properly. But perhaps a better way of thinking about it, rather than just blocking it out, no, those squats are terrible, is viewing them as a progression. So, by all means, do what you're doing and train a perfect squat now. But think about how she's going to use that strength in her life and how you can make it more specific down the track once you've got a lovely squat out of her. So, when it comes to squats in particular, mums, it's beneficial for mums to be able to go down all the way onto their haunches. Now, obviously, you wouldn't do this with a 50-kilo barbell, or at least not in the beginning. But to have that flexibility through your ankles, through your hips, through your pelvis is actually really good for our bodies. We get really stuck in our pelvises, and a full squat is a fabulous way of opening that up. It's also fantastic for our bowels. It straightens up the lower colon and stimulates digestion. And it's not bad for your knees. Your knees are meant to squat that low. Furthermore, if you're doing it on their toes, so if you're dropping down on your haunches, and I've got some photographs of me doing this with kids through the years, it's great for the foot stability. You've got a quarter of the bones and joints in your body in your feet. Sorry. So they are like particularly vulnerable to getting wobbly. If you're squatting all the way down, coming all the way up on the toes, that's another element of stability training. And again, anytime you're unstable, the deep core is also working. Um, so lunges and lunge patterns in the traditional sense are not that common in the activities of daily life for a mum. The one exception is where they're sort of getting down onto the floor, say putting a baby down for belly time. They'll often get up in something that looks like a kneel to stand, like a lunge. But more often, I see mums opting for like a deadlift, bending from the waist to pick their children up and put them down. When I do see a lunge, it's in the form of a crouch or a staggered squat. And we can train this too. It's kind of like squatting like a sphinx with the legs staggered. Actually, let me show you this one because I don't think I had any photos of it. So one foot in front of the other, and you're sitting on your heel. So obviously, some mums won't have that capability in the beginning, and that's totally fine. It's our job to progress and build on what they can do already, okay? But knowing where you're going is kind of what I want to get at today. My brain is going too fast for my mouth. Um, and that sort of crouch squat is a really functional way of using the big muscles in your legs. And you can lift a lot of weight like that. Like you're actually quite straight through your back. So it's a really powerful way to move a lot of weight through a big range of motion. So if you're training mums, please include full squats and crouches, even if it's part of your mobility drill, because they are doing that in their everyday life. Or they can't do that and they're left with one option, which is that soft deadlift bending from the hips. We want to give them as many options as possible. The analogy I like to give is, there's a grassy field. If you walk the same way through that grassy field 17 times a day, you're going to wear a track in it and stuff is going to wear down and wear out. But if you walk through that grassy field a different way every day, then the grass always has a chance to regenerate. And that's what we want from our bodies. We want diversity, we want mobility, we want options and variety. And then your body always has another strategy. And so when it does break down, you have options for rehabilitating and resting while still moving, um, and still performing at being a mum, physically performing. So this is what true functional training is. It looks like looking at their activities and what you're training for and working backwards. It's not a compound exercise where you're using more than one or two joints. So if you're selling functional training, make sure you're thinking about the function that you're training for, which will be different for every single client.